Hello everyone and welcome to a new sprint review from the Eclipse JKube team. Last week was DevTools week, so the team spent some of this time learning new things. If you want to find out more about our activities, we linked a document with the main highlights on the DevTools week highlights spreadsheet that was shared by Stella. Regarding JKube, we finally released version 1.9, which includes the new extensible plugin API that we'll showcase today. For kubernetes-client, we've upgraded the Java model types to be compatible with Kubernetes 1.25. We're working on providing ways for users to be able to extend JKube in an easy way. Docker Maven plugin, from where part of the JKube code was forked, already provided some extensibility through its build plugins. What we are aiming to do is build on top of this Docker Maven plugin functionality to provide an API with entry points and callbacks for the different JKube phases. Users are able now to provide their own JKube plugin interface implementation, and JKube will automatically pick up the plugin and use it during its phase processing. Let us now see a simple project with a plugin implementation and a consumer application. Okay, so let's start by checking the new JKube plugin interface, which users will need to implement in order to provide their own plugin implementations. So basically this is an interface, and we will be adding further methods, but the only entry point we have right now is this add extra files method that will be called when JKube is performing the container image build step, and it contains a single argument that points to a directory that can be referenced in the JKube assembly configuration for the container image. So users are able to provide additional files here. Let us now check at a very simple implementation of this plugin. So for the application that we'll be showcasing today, we created a very simple JKube plugin. As you can see, it implements the JKube plugin interface and the add extra files method. This implementation simply does, it generates a timestamp, so it generates a file that contains the current timestamp, and then it also downloads the Spring Boot documentation. So it will download the latest, the documentation for the latest version of Spring Boot in a PDF and place it also in a file, which we will be able to consume from the container. So in addition to this JKube plugin interface implementation, we also need to provide this file, which through service provider interface, the Java service provider interface, JKube will be able to automatically detect and load this plugin. So we will only need to add the dependency to the plugin in our application. So let us focus now on the application that will be consuming this plugin. So in the Kubernetes Maven plugin configuration, what we will do is add a dependency to this plugin implementation so that the Kubernetes Maven plugin or JKube will automatically detect this plugin and use it during its processing. Regarding the app, it's very, very simple. It just has a resource, a REST controller that when we perform a request to the root path, it will show the PDF, the documentation PDF, if we are in the production environment. So this file needs to be present there. And it also has a version endpoint that will actually read the file with the timestamp that we created previously. So we should be ready to deploy this application to my cluster, which right now has nothing. We configure Maven to perform the JKube tasks automatically upon install phase. So I will install this. Okay, so as you can see, the application was built. The JKube plugin should have performed the additional steps that we demonstrated, that we showed. And now when I access the application, I should be presented with the the latest Spring Boot documentation. So, okay, so it works. And this is basically showing me the documentation for Spring Boot 2.7.3. But this document would be different depending on the time that we build the container image. Because if the online documentation pointed to a later version, that would be what we would have here. We would also be able to check the version endpoint. And yeah, so this is the timestamp of the moment that we created the container image. So this is UTC, just 1 minute ago. So everything is working as expected.